What's up, my beautiful, diverse American people? It's the good JD, George Delara. I want to be your next president. Sorry I'm a little rough today. It's been a rough couple of days, to say the least. First of all, I want to say that there is no place for political violence. That's cowardness, that's ignorance, that's hatred. That's exactly what I am completely against. And my heart goes out to those little children that are going to grow up without their father. I grew up without mine, so I know how hard it can be. And a young woman without her husband, and a young man losing his life. So it's sad. It's sad on every front, regardless of his opinion, regardless of his words, whether you agreed with him or not. The beauty of democracy is that you have the right and the freedom to speak your mind. But something stinks. You know that feeling when you walk into a place for the first time and you right away make that face. That something stinks. What's up? What's up, guys? I see you coming in. God bless you. I'm George Delara. I want to be your next president. And I'm just getting into this. I'm not going to, get too deep into this because it's not surprising to me at all. But there's no place for political violence. There's no place for violence, period, when you're dealing with intelligence and love. But that's a whole other thing. But the point that I was just saying is something stinks, bro. Something stinks. Something just stinks, right? Too surgical, too precise, fits every need, checks every box for what they want, for what they need. It's the big distraction that they couldn't get any other way. It silences a growing dissenting voice. Because as far as I know, I don't know a lot about him, but I have seen him spread a lot of ignorance, a lot of hatred, but I know he had changing views. What I don't see is the hero they want to make out to be. I don't see the valued Christian man that they want to get us to believe he was. Nazis were Christian. KKK were Christian. So that's, it's not the brag they think it is. And the truth, at least in the world that I grew up, if you got a 30-something-year-old guy hanging around 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, under any other scenario, most of us would have a problem with that. Yet this young man was doing just that, speaking to large groups of young, impressionable mind, a 30-something uneducated, unprepared, misinformed, hateful, racist man trying to spew his point of view onto 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. So I find something wrong with that inherently. This guy was not a college graduate, not a professor, not anybody who had any other preparation other than looked a little young and was a good manipulator of young people. Pretty much. So something stinks. Something stinks. Something ain't right. There are videos of a character who was at the Pennsylvania miraculous regrowing ear event that apparently was at this location also. They were pretty much characterizing the individual before there was anybody ever caught. The fact that the president released the news of the death right away, that there was a prepared statement minutes after the man's death with a follow-up scripted video. I don't know, seems a little bit too prepared. And then he was at the baseball game cheering, just lost supposedly somebody that he lost, that he loved. He was at a game cheering. So, just too many things that don't add up. You know, too many things that don't add up. Laura Loomer, the big supporter, had come out hard against Charlie, saying that he could no longer refer to himself as a Trump supporter because he was trying to play both sides and that he had to pick one or the other and die for it. And a young man lost his life over ignorance and hatred. A young man who openly said that gun death and children being slaughtered was a small price to pay. Paraphrasing. For the right to own a gun. To feel like a man and be able to own a gun, it's okay for people to get slaughtered. So I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. I'm George Delara. I want to be your next president. I'm not a billionaire, not a lawyer, not a politician. I've never wanted to be the president of anything. I'm an artist, creative, individual, turned activist and defender of democracy and freedom, because I believe the Founding Fathers' vision was to build a nation on freedom, and I still believe that. So because Charlie Kirk said that he did not believe in diversity, did not make that a fact. That was not a fact in any way, shape, or form. On the contrary, all of nature has diversity. The most healthy ecosystems are healthy because of their diversity. And as far as I know, we're part of nature. So to deny our diversity is denying our nature. And you want to talk about DNA? Yes, sir, I do paint all those paintings. Thank you, appreciate that. The point is that we deserve better. We deserve better, guys. We need to love each other. This ignorance and hatred, just because we have difference of opinions, doesn't mean you need to take someone's life. And this orange criminal keeps spewing ignorance and hatred. There was a TikTok on the contrasting messages after he got the miraculous regrowing ear event After that, President Biden's message to the country contrasted to the lies and ignorance and hatred for this young man, for the others, the leftists, instead of saying, look, we need to come together, we need to stop this shit. No. He's saying he's amping it up. So I want to be your first president, the first president ever that directly represents every single one of you by DNA. And I'll post it because my DNA proves that I'm white, black, Latino, Native, European, African, South American, Central American, Iberian, Caribbean, European, Middle Eastern. I am you. I am the American people. So the first time ever, let's get behind a candidate, someone who represents every single one of us. Because rich people who position themselves, the most recent who fell ass backwards into wealth, declared themselves geniuses, and way too many of you believed it. I still know that there was nefarious technology involved. Rockland County, New York, is the only thing I'm going to say. But the point is that we deserve better. We deserve better. And I've said it in all my videos. If you guys follow my videos and watch it, I love you. I love every one of you. That's what motivates me. That's the only reason for this. I've never wanted to be president of anything, man. I'm an artist. I'm a creator. I'm a baseball player. I played baseball for 40 years. I'm 65 years old and I can still hit an 80 mile an hour I'll say 80 mile an hour fastball fairly easily. And if you want to put money on it, I'll hit a 90 mile an hour fastball. And that'll be a big ticket. That could launch the campaign. We'll arrange it in person. You can come watch. A 65-year-old man hit a 90 mile an hour fastball, who's never been a professional baseball player, by the way. But it's about DNA. They want to talk about good DNA? Show it. That's it. I'm an artist. The pain is behind me. Hablo múltiples idiomas because I speak 2 fluently and I understand 4 others and I know 6 computer languages. So when I say something stinks, it's because, you're making that face. Jim McMahon, hey, there's a name, a blast from the past. He was one of those, good quarterbacks. Came in, did his thing, was a rebel, was kind of like me from the outside in. Went out, did his thing, and then moved on. Who knows where he is now? But that's a good one to paint. That's a good guy to paint. I like Jim McMahon. He was a tough guy. He was a tough quarterback. Mom. We need love and intelligence to lead us. We need one of us. Oh, we've never had. We've had military leaders. We've had people come out of politics. We've had business leaders or people who say they're business leaders. We've never had one of us. We've never had someone who's had to struggle, who's come directly out of the struggle to lead us. Someone who had to make decisions with a small budget to go feed your kids. A single mom who's raised 3 kids on her own despite her idiot husband. That's leadership. That's the kind of leaders we want. So I say my cabinet is going to be alpha women. Just because the beta boys are terrified of women. So I want to make sure we got the top women, the top leaders, to put us on a path of love and intelligence. And we're not going to get tips from Russia or the guy in Turkey or North Korea. Those aren't the models for democracy that we're looking for. Because Putin came in to tell them, you better get rid of the mail-in ballots. There's too much freedom. And boom, right after Putin said we got to get rid of the mail ballots, because Putin, the guy who executes, who poisons anybody who even says they want to be president of Russia, is his guide for democracy. What's up, my brother? Alex, God love you, my brother. How's my 305, man? I gotta go. I'll be back soon. I'm doing my traveling across the country right now, but I'll be back in the 305 very soon. And that's going to be home base, because the Cuban people are the ones who need to help change this, because they contributed to this. So I post in all the Cuban roots groups, and they get upset. They don't like someone speaking about freedom and democracy, because all they understand is autocracy and dictatorship. And they supported all this. They still do. But that's all they know. But even though I love my Cuban roots, my family left Cuba way before that. We never marched, supported, lived under any of that. We understand what democracy is. And we understand what democracy provided them when they came to this country that they don't appreciate. So I want to do things different. And you know me, Alex. You know how I am. You know my values, bro. This young man has known me for, he was a kid when I first met him. And he's an upstanding, successful, excellent young man. That's the kind of leadership that I talk about. That's the kind of leadership that we need. People who overcome. People who've been through the struggle. That's what we need. We need leadership. We don't need beta boy followers. And the truth is, I don't think there's anybody in Washington right now, just because they're all complicit. They're all dirty. They're all stinky. If they aren't in the stink, they've stepped in the stink. So they're spreading it. So we need somebody from completely outside of Washington. Someone who has absolutely no ownership to any of this. Fresh, clean, talented individuals to come in and lead through love and intelligence. And we're going to accomplish so much more. We're going to be so profitable, so successful through love and intelligence, because we don't need to be rich. We don't need a country run like a corporation, because as far as I know, I don't think too many of you have had great experiences dealing with corporations on either side. As an employee working for them, they've given you the least they could always, except for a select few. I mean, I'm not saying it's everybody. There are no absolutes in life. And if you've ever had to deal with a corporation from the other side, from the customer side, trying to get your money back, trying to make them fix a wrong, trying them to correct something that they've done, it rarely is a good experience, especially now. Especially after COVID, that customer service just ended. Didn't get reduced. It ended. So we need to change that. And you guys watched my videos yesterday. You see I didn't talk about any of this. I just asked you guys to go out and love each other. Because September 11th, 2001 was the day that changed this country. And on the morning of September 12th, that painting that you're going to see in those videos wasn't going to be that. I bought that to do a baseball painting on it. And when I looked at it, I just saw those faces. So go and watch those videos. They're, little cuts. I've always, I always try to post the long version of these videos on the white YouTube channel. I don't know if I can even say that on this platform anymore. And this might be one of the last videos on this platform. I guess I'm on all the other ones, so Crazy and Impossible. George de Lara, I want to be your next president. Hablo español, entiendo 4 idiomas, I understand 4 of the language, I speak Spanish. I was born in New York, raised in Miami, lived in LA, I've lived in the Midwest, I've been all over this country. And it's the most beautiful country with beautiful people. And unfortunately, there have been pockets of malevolent people just preaching ignorance and hatred in churches, government officials who've done nothing other than attack education with the intention of making people stupid. Because the key to tyranny is ignorance, while the key to freedom is education. That's not new. That goes back to Maximilian Robespierre. And I'll leave you with this, guys. I love you guys. I love you. I love every one of you. And please love each other, bro. Stop killing each other. Stop killing each other. We don't get anything from that. There's no gain. And this young man that just lost his life, tragically, sadly, kids are going to grow up without their father. But there's a saying that the church people love, that you reap what you sow. He reaped what he sowed. The ignorance and hatred that he spewed out found him. And again, something stinks. Something stinks bad. Something stinks bad. Something stinks bad. And we know they're not above this. They needed a distraction. They need a martyr. That's a great tool. That's a great marketing tool. Something stinks. Something stinks. And when something stinks, there's usually something rotten. This isn't America. This isn't the founding fathers' vision of a nation built on freedom. That's it. That was their only intention. They wrote a Dear John letter. A small group of talented men wrote a Dear John letter to King George telling him, bro, you ain't right. We want freedom. And they took on the biggest army on the planet for that freedom. And I've said it in previous videos, and I know some don't want to hear this, but America might not exist if not for a woman. A Latina woman to boot. Because George Washington, his army, dying, struggling, no food, out of armor, out of weapon, out of ammunition, needed help. Couldn't turn to the Brits. They were fighting the Brits. And guess who came to help? The Queen of Spain. A Latina. Who sent George Washington to Cuba to get what he needed to come back and win the Battle of Yorktown that enshrined their nation. So where's our gratitude? It shows that it's ignorance and hatred and fear, and mostly fear of women. They fear you ladies so bad. They fear your strength, your power, your alpha nature, your alpha leadership. They're terrified of you. That's why my cabinet will be full of alpha women. We need a change in direction here. No more of the Lisa Murkowski's little barking. The other one, no. We need new leadership. And like I said, I'm 65 years old. When I am elected your next president, I will be 68 years old, 69 almost, just turning 69. So I don't want to be president for 8 years. I don't want to be president forever. 4 years is more than enough. I want to be that bridge, that transition to the younger generation, because I'm going to pass the term limits as one of my first executive orders. From the Supreme Court down to every office, there will be term limits. No more crusty old people making decisions for the younger generations that are coming. It's not going to happen anymore. We'll be there to lead. We'll be there to advise. We'll be there to consult. But we need young leadership running this country. No more of these 70, 80-year-old white men. Enough. We've seen what they can do. They've had their chance. So diversity, equity, and inclusion, like nature, like God put into everything, will be a big part of my drive, will be a big part of my administration. And yes, there will be hell to pay. I will prosecute traitors. What is this? White men like Maxine Waters. What does that even mean? See what I mean? That's what we're up against. We the people. Abraham Lincoln said it. We the people are the rightful masters of both the courts and the Congress, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert it. And we see a daily perversion. If you are the President of the United States and you need a lawyer to tell you if it is your job to protect the Constitution, you're not a leader. You're a follower. Because look, some of my best friends are lawyers. But a lawyer's job is to manipulate, twist, and distort laws for the benefit of their clients. That's it. That's a lawyer's job. So if you are the president and you need a lawyer to let you know if your job is to protect the Constitution, you're not a leader. You're not a leader. You do not have the cojones to lead this country because you need a lawyer to tell you. I'll have lawyers working for me. Working for you. To protect you. To protect your rights. That's what a president does. Protects you. Not my interest. I'm not interested in wealth. I'll tell you right there, I'm not interested in wealth. The $400,000 a year salary that the president gets will be the best motherfucking job I've ever had. So I don't need any more of that. With that salary and my talent, I will never see anyone around me go hungry. I will make sure that that salary goes to empower people. That's who we are. That's who we are. We're the American people. We love. We don't attack each other. We don't criminalize people who grow your food, build your homes, slice your meats, tend to your homes, care for your children, fix your cars, pave your roads, build your houses. It's ignorance and hatred. So my immigration plan will be to invite people to come to our country, and we're going to have training and education centers right at the border. Because instead of threatening universities and taking away their funding, I'm going to ask them to build training centers right at the border. Because these people come looking for opportunity. And guess what? We're going to provide that opportunity. Because there's a world out there that needs trained, educated workers. So we're going to train them. And those countries will pay for that training. We send them back to their country, trained and educated. Those countries will pay for that. These people are coming now empowered back to their countries. So that makes a lot more sense than putting people in cages to create slave labor for factories that you want to build. For building knickknacks and little things that the American people don't want to do. So I'm going to lead through intelligence and love. For you. Love for you, the American people. Like I said, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire, I've never wanted to be president. I'm just a middle-of-the-road, common-sense American like you, like your dad, like your uncle, like your mom, like your aunt, like your sister. People who've had to struggle all their lives, yet never committed crimes. Never had to grift or steal or scam anybody or create false universities or steal from children's charities because they have no empathy. It's all about the transactional nature of everything. That's why I say we don't need a country that's rich. We need a country that's prosperous. And you measure the prosperity of a nation by the lack of hunger. The lack of children getting murdered in schools, in churches. The lack of young men speaking at college campuses, right or wrong. He had every right to do it. We need better. We deserve better. And we're not getting it. We haven't gotten it in a while. So I say I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a libertarian, I'm not a communist, I'm not a socialist, I'm not anything other than a fucking American. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make our country work for everyone. Not for a handful. For we the people. Because they put those words bigger for a reason. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a sentence starter. It wasn't to make the document look pretty. It was because they knew that the power and strength of their nation wasn't you. 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 The people. Mary, Mac, Maggie. That's who has the power in this nation. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, it's not a president, it's not the Senate, it's not a Congress. The power is in you, in the people. And that's why they're after your vote. That's what all this redistricting and changing guidelines and boundaries, that's cheating. That's all it is. Redistricting is done after a 10-year census. But the point is your vote. They want to make it hard for you to vote. They want to eliminate your vote, like in Missouri. Missouri is actively overturning the will of the people. People go out, get petitions, get signed, get signatures, do all our work, put it on the ballot, get it passed. They're saying, nah, we don't want it. And the beta boy governor overturns the will of the people. So that's not a democratic or a republic or a constitutional republic or a democratic constitutional republic. You can use the 2 words or 3 words. You can put it however you want. But it's none of them. It is an autocracy of followers. Because it's not even, they have no leader. There is no shred of leadership. They're just followers. So we're going to change that. I want leaders. I want people who are going to put their people first, not the people in Washington first, and the rich people first. So we're going to do things differently. Mi nombre es Jorge de Lara. My name is George de Lara. Quiero ser su presidente. I want to be your president. No soy billonario. I'm not a billionaire. No soy millonario. I'm not a millionaire. No soy político. I'm not a politician. I'm a regular American just like you. And that's what we've never had. We need a regular, real American to be our president. Doesn't have to be me. It can be you. It could be your dad. It could be your mom. It could be your sister, your aunt, your boss. Just one of us. What we've never had. One of us. So, to recap, something stinks real bad. Something stinks real bad with this young man being surgically, precisely taken out. Because even there was some guy on TikTok saying that, he's a sniper and that the guy missed because if he was shooting at his chest and he hit his neck, there's 4-inch difference there. From 2 football fields away, what you're shooting at is this big. So there is no difference between hitting here and hitting here. Yeah, here it's 13, 14 inches. But from 200 feet away, it's a millimeter. So that was a precision hit. He did not miss. Something stinks. Something stinks bad. I love you guys. I love every single one of you. Jerry, what's up? Randy, what's up, my brother? God bless you guys. DB Lake Texan, what's up? I love you guys. We deserve better. We deserve better. Nos merecemos mejor. We deserve better. And you know what? We deserve an army that is diverse, that understands other languages, that understands other cultures. That's what we need. Because the strongest ecosystems are strong because of their diversity. We are part of nature. In fact, we are the top of nature. So we have to be the most diverse to be the most powerful. So don't believe any different. This young man was against diversity. He thought that was a bad thing. It's ignorance and hatred. And it catches up. So my message is to love each other. My message is that there are no red states. There are no blue states. There are American states. That's it. And anyone trying to divide it and to split it up is doing you an injustice. Because it's one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we were working on loving each other. There was a little sliver of America where we were working on loving each other. Then September 11th hit yesterday, 2001, changed us, made us fear. And malevolent forces saw that fear as gold. They saw your fear as gold. And they began to weaponize it and to make you fear more, be more fearful. Fear where you're going, fear the neighborhood, fear the street, fear your neighbor, fear the brown person, fear the black person, fear the Asian, fear the Middle Eastern. Because that was how they're making their money. So let's put an end to that. Let's go back to loving each other. Let's go back to feeling the way we did the day before September 11th, on September 10th, when we were still trying to love each other. We were still that melting pot that we were so proud of, because we knew the power and strength of our unity, of that other word that they hate, united. We the people. I love you guys. I love you. Something stinks. Something stinks. I'll say it again. I'm going to close. There is no place for violence. There is no place for political violence. There is no place for gun violence against each other. Stop. Stop. Stop with the ignorance and the hatred. I love you guys. God bless you.